All right, so example 3. So let me clear all this out. We don't need to see that. All right, example 4. Ooh, not example 3. All right, so let's just talk about this. And I know you guys don't do this, but this example right here is like real life stuff right now. Like especially like if anybody was doing the pandemic stuff and being at home and doing remote learning and all that good stuff. If that was you or this is you, yeah, this is straightforward. Makes sense. All right, so let's say you walk into Mr. Hall's Math 4 class and completely forget that you completely forgot that you didn't study for the test that day. So you have a pop test, or Mr. Hall don't get pop tests. Pop tests. Sorry. So you have a test today and you didn't study for it. And here's why. Because you slept through every class in this unit. So in other words, like if you're remote learning on remote learning, and you like click on the actual computer and like you get into class, and you're just like, oh, I'm for like listening to Mr. Hall today, so I'm for like doing the work, so I'm just gonna lay back down. So you keep your camera off, you go back into bed, you roll over, you put your cover over you, and you're like, I'm asleep, I'm gone. And you've slept through that, do that every single time we had class during this whole unit. So you literally have no clue about this material. You have no clue whatsoever. So if the test is multiple choice with 25 questions and 4 choices for each question, we need to find the probability of 1, getting exactly 10 questions correct. Now, before we even start working on this, they didn't even ask for half the questions. They just asked for just 10. Half would be like 12, 13, somewhere in there. But they didn't even ask for half. They just want 10. So let's find out, what is the probability of this person only getting 10 questions right? All right, so we know it is a binomial distribution. So we're going to say that now. We know that there's 25 questions in all. So that's our N. Now our probability, and this probability is about getting stuff correct. So probability of success. The probability here is how the chances of getting it right, a question right. So if you think about it, there's one correct answer here, just one, but there's 4 choices from out to choose. So there's one right answer, but there's 4 choices to choose in all. So 1 out of 4 is your probability of getting the question correct. 1 out of 4 chances, or 4 choices, or chances, one of them. So here, the probability of this one is 1 out of 4. Or, and we're talking about, again, correct, 10 questions correct. So we're talking about getting a question correct. That's the probability that we're looking at. So 1 out of 4, that's 0.25, or 25%. All right. So with this, again, we're trying to find the number of questions and everything. So with this, we know X, what we're looking for is exactly 10 questions correct. So to get it right is 1 out of 4, exactly 10 questions. So we're going to do the binomial PDF. We have 10 for the N, 25 for the N. Whew. We have 0.25 for the P, and we're going to put exactly 10 there for the X. All right, so let's go and put this into the calculator. So we do second vars. We go down until we get to that binomial PDF. And remember, we do PDF when we're talking about exact. So we have 25, 0.25, and 10. And we hit paste. And we hit enter there. Okay. So here we're going to put the decimal point, 0.0417, because that 5 will take that 6 up to 7. So we're going to say that's approximately, the percent is 4.17%. Remember, again, move that decimal place over 2 times. 1, 2, and actually get that part. All right, so again, exacts would be PDF. And so here, there's a 4.17 chance of getting 10 questions correct. All right, so let's go to the next example, guys. Let's do this. We're doing good. We're doing good. All right, so example 4, question B. All right, so this time we're looking at passing the test with at least 60. At least a 60. So it could be a grade of 60 or higher. At least a 60. But this problem does something different. This one is not just asking for a number of questions. It's asking for an actual overall grade, right? This is different. This is a little bit different, but it's different. So just like I just said, this deals with the overall grade this time, not just that minor grade or just the numbers. So you have to figure out how many questions you need to get right to get at least a 60. To at least get a 60. So we have to figure that part out. That's what our work is going to be done to start off with first. Because again, we've been talking about questions and number of questions correct. Right here, we're talking about like the overall grade. So how many questions will we need to do? So how are we going to figure that out? So what we have to do is figure out how much each question's worth. And then we can multiply that by how many questions we're supposed to get right so that we can at least get a 60. So we need to find the number of the worth of each question. And guys, that's writing all over this. I'm sorry. So we'll get this. It'll be good. You'll see it. Let's do this really quick. There we go. So we need to see the worth of each question. So in other words, how much each question is worth. That's pretty much what we're saying. So here, to find that, we need to, we know the max number of points is 100 and that there are 25 questions in all. So if we were to divide 100 by 25, we'll get that there are 4 points apiece. So we do 100 divided by 25, we'll get 4. 4 quarters is $1. All right. So we know, okay, there's 4 points apiece. And again, there's the actual showing you part, 100 divided by 25. Now, so to get a 60, we have to find the number of questions and multiply that by 4. So however many questions you're supposed to have, multiply that by 4 and it gives us a 60. So with that, what we're going to take a look at is we have to figure out what that number is. So we can guess on here a couple of times. So that's in the calculator. Let's look at it. So we know it's 4 points apiece, 100 divided by 25. So let's do 10 times 4. We should already know what that answer is without even putting it in the calculator. We should know it's 40. We should already know. So let's do 12 then. And we should know that answer too. Because we know multiplication tables, that's 48. Bam. All right, so 48 is still like low. We need to get to 64. So let's try 16. You can still do that in your head, but let's do that real quick. 64. So we're above it. So let's try, okay, since that's above, let's try 15. Bam! We got 60. So 15 is our answer here. So it's 15 questions that will give us at least a 60. So we have to do these 15 or more questions here in order to be able to get a 60. So to get a 60, we must get 15 questions correct. So to get at least a 60, we must get 15 more correct. I just repeated myself. All right, so here we have the same stuff here. But as a reminder again, we have n is 25, p is 0.25, x is 15 or more questions. Now, remember to use 1 minus the binomial CDF for intervals. And we're going to use 14 for the lower portion. Remember here, if it's talking about anything up more this and above, we have to use the lower interval to do it. So here we're going to use 14 and lower, that lower section. So our max number is going to be 14 here. So we're going to do this. So we're going to use x equals 14 here. So we're going to put in the calculator as 1 minus binomial CDF, 25, 0.25, and 14. And again, we're using this just like we said when it came to, I think, example 3. I think it was example 3, example 2. I think it's example 3. All right, so with that, let's put in the calculator. So 1 minus the binomial CDF. Got 25, 0.25, and 14. Paste it. Paste it. Hit enter. All right, and so we have an E. And so again, it's like you see here. We have an E right there. Now, does anybody remember what that E stands for? Anybody know what that E stands for? And hopefully you do from like biology or science or something. I think it's physical science. Whenever you have this means, take the number here, the decimal number. The E means times 10. And this -4 right here is your exponent. So E means times 10. And that number right here is your exponent. So that means, since the negative exponent, we're going to move it 4 decimal places to the left. So 4 times to the left. So here, if it's 2.1451240, we're going to move it 4 times to the left because that's negative. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So our actual answer is 0.0002145, blah, blah, blah. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and change that to like the percent. So if percent means you move it over 2 places to the right. So that is P of X equals 0.02%. All right. All right. So again, that one, it took a little more work there because we had to actually find the how many questions would be make it 60. Pretty much how much each question was, multiply that by how many questions there are to make it 60, and then find the values that way. And then hopefully you guys remember this part. Hopefully it's not brand new for anybody. If it is, it's okay. All right, so let's go to the next video, and we're going to do questions C and D. All right, so let's go.